guys. Go ahead and fire away.
You guys have acquired players over the years and had to get them ready. What's the process of if someone new were to come in, getting them ready for game in a couple days?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting with the coaches. I think our coaches do a great job of getting guys up to speed, and you've seen that throughout this year already. Bringing in guys, getting them up to speed fast, and then letting them go out there and make impact and do what they're great at. And so that's stuff that I think the coaches really do well. And then at me as a quarterback, I just try to be on the same page with the guys that are in there whenever I'm taking a snap. Yeah, I think in my time, we've had receivers that can make some of those contested catches, and once you build that relationship and build that trust, you put them up there and let guys go out there and make plays. I think that's what's special about Coach Reed's offense is that it adapts to whoever's in there. He has different ways he can utilize your strengths, and then it's my job to go out there and put guys in chances, give them chances to go out there and make plays.
What's your biggest takeaway, Patrick, going through the experience before the past 2 years of bringing in a receiver mid-season? What are perhaps a good takeaway that you learned from it and something that you can use from that experience for
I think the biggest thing for me is just whenever a new guy gets into the building is just getting on that same page as quickly as possible. Even with guys like Kareem in the running back position, just being able to talk with him throughout the protection calls, talk with him kind of throughout the plays, making sure he knows what his job is to do, and then letting him go out and execute it. And I've dealt with that throughout my entire career, bringing new guys in. That's part of the NFL. And like I said, I think the coaches do a great job of making sure guys are prepared and so they can go out there and have success.
Patrick, what do you remember most about that last Raiders game last year, and what sort of it did for you guys, the mentality after that?
I think more than anything, more than even the play on the field, I think it was just a wake-up call for us to know that we're not going to be able to just come to the game and win. We kind of battled through the year, and it was like everybody was we were just trying to build, especially I feel like myself, we were just building for the playoffs. We weren't even worried about the regular season, and I think you've seen that mentality since then as the guys are really taking every single practice and getting the best out of it so that every single week we can play our best football. And if we don't play our best football, we try to get better that next week. And I think that's translated into this season. And so we're continuing to get better as the season goes on, and that's how you have to play in the NFL. And it's still early, but I feel like we've had a great start to it.
It seemed to be that it would be just as much that way. You're just as conscious of that way as ever now that you're actually playing the Raiders again, like that mentality is what would be front of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, we know we're going to get their best shot. I mean, that's kind of how it's been every single week. But obviously when you play a divisional opponent, like I've said in the past, it's a real rivalry between our two teams and our two organizations. You're going to get their best shot, and we're gonna go out there and match that and let the best team win.
Is there any more to this one? I know they all count the same, divisional games, whatever, but the talk afterwards that they had the secret, how to stop you, the Kermit the Frog thing, all that stuff. Does that resonate with you at all this week?
I mean, I don't know if you would say resonates with me. I think just knowing that the competitive spirit that they have on that side is going to match the competitive spirit that we have. I think it's going to be a fun football game that we're going to get the best out of each and every player on that football field. And like I said, the best team will win.
Patrick, with a guy like Maxx Crosby, what do you have to be mindful of when you're right there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to know where he's at on every single snap because he plays extremely hard every single snap, and he's extremely talented. And to have a guy that be that talented and to have that high of a motor, that's special. It takes a lot because you don't always feel great, and you might not be he gets chipped or he gets whatever it is. He doesn't let that bother him. He doesn't let that affect him. He just keeps playing extremely hard every single snap. And so a great challenge for us to go up against him in that defense. And so I think the guys are ready for it.
To the next point, you guys have jawed back and forth a little bit, you and Max. How would you describe the respect level between you guys, when it is off the field?
Yeah, it's a high level of respect. I mean, I respect guys that are going to leave it out there every single snap and do whatever they can to let their team have a chance to win. And that's the type of guys I want in this building. And that's what you see with guys on our team is that guys are going to lay it on the line every single snap to win the football game. And that's what it takes to be great in this league. Because, I mean, everybody's good. I mean, everybody's good in this league. It's about who's going to do the extra thing, the extra step, the extra pass rusher, the extra throw, whatever it is to make sure their team has a better chance to win. And he's one of those guys. And we're on the field. We're going to compete. That's the type of guys that we are, but we have a ton of respect mutually between each other off of it.
Are there ways?
Go
let's go across the room, Adam. Go ahead, Ryan.
Just not to linger on this too much, Patrick, but that shot you took to the throat the other day, did you hear anything from Collins, or do you have any reason to know by now whether it was inadvertent or he felt bad about it?
I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like anyone got hurt or anything like that. I mean, I threw an interception. I was more upset about the interception than actually getting hit. So whenever you throw an interception, you set yourself up to get hit by somebody, and so that's on me.
Dennis?
Quarterback who spends so much time with receivers during their offseason, I mean, you bring guys down there and work with them. How big of a difference is it between having that whole offseason and work with a guy and that short time? I mean, clearly it's a difference, but how big of a difference is it for timing and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it probably affects some things, I think, at least initially, but at the same time, I mean, in this league, you have to be able to adapt fastly, and I think that's something that we've been great at is putting guys in position to succeed, getting the reps when we can throughout the week, and then at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play football, and obviously you want as much time as possible, but at the same time, you have to be able to adapt and on the fly and make stuff happen whenever you're out there.
Your long run down the sideline last week, people kind of gone back and looked at it. They think it was like somewhat controversial. It looked like you were going to go out of bounds. What's that line like to make sure that they don't think you're going out of bounds and following whatever the rules are, as far as like the unwritten rules of football?
I didn't believe on that play right there I was really showing like I was going to go out of bounds. I don't want to ever put a defender in a bad spot. I mean, I know that we're all competing, so when I go out of bounds, I'm going to go out of bounds. I'm not going to try to fake a guy out by using like a loophole in the rules. At the time, I was going to cut back and get the first down. And then once I cut back, I was going to do one of those dives for the first down, but I cut back and realized I had a lane to run. So I went down the sideline, and then, I mean, I literally ran out of bounds on that exact play. So when I go out of bounds, I'm going to go out of bounds. And whenever I'm trying to get a first down, I'll get a first down. But I'm not trying to use a loophole or anything in the rules to try to cheat in any way.
Patrick, last Friday night, you guys got to be on hand for a pretty good high school football game. Got to watch Coach Nagy's son lead a game-winning drive. How important is it for professionals such as yourselves to have a presence like that in the community?
Yeah, I mean, one, in the community, I think the Chiefs organization in general has had a great history of having a great presence in the community. It's something that Clark Hunt talks about in the first meeting we have every single year is giving back to the community because they give so much to us and being at Arrowhead every single week and showing support to our foundations. And so just being out there, being at a game, being at a sport I love, letting my kids run around, and then seeing Coach Nagy's son and Coach Merritt's son go at it. I mean, those kids I've seen grow up. So it's cool to see them live out their dream. Both of them will move on and go to Division I colleges. And so it was cool to see their last matchup that they'll get to go up against each other, and it was a great football game.
We'll do our last one. Go ahead, Adam.
Patrick, in what ways have you seen Kareem make a difference in the running game?
Yeah, I think he's just done a great job of getting what's there and then making plays whenever his number's called. He seems like every single time he's falling forward, getting 5 yards, 6 yards, whatever it is, and that makes my job easier at the quarterback position and the offense just in general when you're in those advantageous situations and down and distances. And so Kareem has done a great job. He's done a great job not only running the ball, catching the ball. He's done a great job in pass protection. And I think as we start getting more and more guys back and healthier, he might not have to have 30 carries or whatever it is, but whenever he gets his opportunity, he's going to go out there and make it count.
Along the lines of the high school push, and on behalf of all the Texas affiliates, you've been inducted to the Texas High School Hall of Fame. Just your comments on just your memories of playing at White House and what an honor it is to be with such a great, illustrious history of high school football in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I brag about it all the time. I think Texas high school football is the best in the world, just because the way that you have pride in the area that you're from and how you've grown up. And I played the high school football with the same kids I played Little League baseball with, and that's just how it is in Texas. Is you grow up with that dream, and it's like the movie Friday Night Lights, and you grow up with that dream of winning a state championship. I wasn't able to do that then, but we had a lot of fun times, and I still look back and watch. Even last week I looked at the record of my high school football team. I just have so much pride in the area that I grew up in, and it's a tremendous honor to be in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame just because of all the great players and great people that are in it.
Patrick, I know that there's been obviously a perception that Travis is not great at blocking, but from your example of watching him and seeing what he's done this season, what do you think people don't realize about how effective he can be at blocking?
Yeah, I think he's a winner, man. I think that's more than anything. He doesn't care how we win. He doesn't care if he's getting catches. He doesn't care what it is. He's going to make an impact on the game, and that's what he's done this year. He's had games where he's caught the ball and made plays in the receiving game. He's had games where he's made critical blocks to get other guys open, and you need those type of guys on your team. And it's the little things that help you win those games at the end of the day. And he takes it upon himself to do the little things right so that he can go out there and we can have success as a team. And one of the best leaders I've been around just because he'll do it all, and he doesn't have to. And so it shows everybody else that you better pick your game up because the Hall of Famer is out there blocking his tail off harder than anybody.
Last one, Matt.
Kind of a similar question, but resiliency has been a trademark of the culture around here for a long time. You're a big part of that. But guys come and go. Not everyone has that attitude. Everyone here seems to have it. Where's that championship mentality come from, do you think?
Yeah, it's a culture that I was even brought into. Coach Reed built a great culture with guys, a lot of leaders, Derek Johnson, Justin Houston, Alex Smith, these guys that kind of turned this organization into a time where it wasn't winning as much to where it is now, and I was able to join in that, and I kind of followed suit, and I just try to make my own impact with the guys that I have around me. And every single time we get a young guy in, we go to work, we have the extreme hard training camp, whatever it is, and then we come into the season ready to go out there and compete. And so it becomes a family-like atmosphere, and whenever you have a bunch of brothers on the football field, there's nothing you won't do to give everything you have for the guy standing beside you, and that's where you come across wins in this league.
Thanks, Patrick.
Appreciate it.
As we go forward. Look for the challenge of playing the Raiders. Good football team. Antonio does a nice job with that group, as do his coordinators, Patrick, Luke, and then Tom, who you guys know. And they've got Marv Lewis on that staff too, who go way back a lot of years, knowing each other, but all good football coaches, and they've got good players. So we got to make sure we have a good week of practice, and we'll get that going today. So that time's yours.
Coach, I know nothing's official about DeAndre Hopkins. The league tweeted out he's joining your team. Maybe not specifically about him being on your team, but you've competed against him many times over the years. What kind of player has he been to compete against?
Yeah, Veach is dealing with all that, so I'm hush on that. Yeah.
With Juju, did he just maybe push it too hard to try to get back and play? I know he wanted to play. Probably be a little more cautious with him now, or?
Yeah, we'll be cautious with him. Yeah, we thought we were being cautious the last time, so with him, but this time it's a little bit worse. So, yeah.
Just around the league, there's been a lot of injuries with a lot of wide receivers. Do you have any kind of pulse on just why it's been?
I mean, these things are kind of secular. They happen like that. But I don't have an answer for you now.
Hopkins is not here and he will not be practicing today, is that right?
I know nothing.
Okay.
Andy, last time you guys played the Raiders, obviously was the last time you lost. It's probably hard to summarize, but what was it that you pushed off from after that game that sort of reset your team late last year?
Yeah, they came in and got after us, and that's their personality, and so we didn't handle that the right way. But I thought we learned from it and got better for it, which was the important thing after something like that.
It helped you know what your own strengths and weaknesses were a little more, and how to contour to that. Is that fair to say?
No, I don't think necessarily. I just think we could have been a little bit more ready, which is my responsibility, and that part didn't take place.
Coach, Kareem Hunt and you guys called runs between the tackles record times in 16. How tough is somewhat of an identity shift on the fly when circumstances call for some of these guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, in his case, I mean, it was important. I mean, for him for himself, to come in and do well. And he had stayed in shape, which I think was important. And he's been able to contribute and help us keep moving forward. And I think everybody appreciates that part. But I think most of all, he was on a mission to get that, make it right. And so my hat goes off to the kid for that.
Andy, with the players you have on board, we're about to talk to Nicole and Jaden on both sides of the ball. Just what are you seeing at the confidence level on the receivers that you presently have on the roster, and then obviously the defensive matchup?
Yeah, sure. I like the receivers we have. I've mentioned that before. We've got guys that can step in and play, and everybody has confidence in them. So, that we're fortunate that way. I think Veach has done a good job with all that, and giving everybody, all the coaches an opportunity to be successful because of that. And these guys, opportunities, when they arise, they've got to take advantage of them, and that's what they do. And people believe in them.
Back to Kareem Hunt for a second. How have you seen him make a difference in the running game? Are there specific ways that you've seen him come in and give you guys a lift that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had Pop before that, and then the guys that stepped in for Pop did a nice job. So, and rotated with him. And so we've, he's just a different style. They're all of them are actually different, and but he's got that pounded in at you style, and it's helped us, that way. So you lose a great player like we did with Pacheco, and these other guys step up, and Kareem come off the street and help us out. That's great, and we still have Hilaire sitting back there, who's a great player too. So. It's a good position to be in, from a coach's standpoint.
Andy, with the player of Maxx Crosby's caliber, what do you kind of have to be mindful of whenever you're calling plays there?
Yeah, I mean everything. He's a great player. He's one of the best in the business of what he does, and he's going to give you an honest down every down. So he doesn't take plays off, and our guys know that and respect the heck out of him. So you got to be ready to play 4 quarters against him.
Todd?
Coach, you guys, maybe in June, when you thought your roster was going to be this before the injuries, you probably had a whole big scheme plan for the season. And as Pete mentioned, on the fly, you've had to kind of change a lot of things. I know you love drawing up plays and you work tirelessly. Has this been a different kind of year to do that? And who have maybe you leaned on the staff to kind of work through all of that stuff?
No, all the coaches do a great job. We really haven't had to change much. I mean, the guys have stepped in and done a nice job. So we've been able to ride that part of it. But I'm fortunate to have coaches that are great teachers and motivators. The guys like to play for them. And so it's, they want to do well. The players want to do well, the coaches want to do well. So I'm fortunate that way.
Andy, with Hollywood Brown, I mean, when he first got injured and had the re-injury, I know that the timeline was pretty lengthy. I just wondered in the past few weeks, have you had any more finite timeline about the possibility that he's back for you this year?
Yeah, he's doing great. That I can tell you. He's doing great. Seems to be on schedule or a little bit ahead of schedule. So I can't tell you that. I mean, I don't know that. It's going to be a while though. So, but he's a relentless worker. I can tell you that much, and I can tell you he's doing very well for what he's got there. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Patrick Mahomes has revealed his hidden talent. Matchmaking, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, 28, recently appeared on the Pat McAfee show and explained his role in Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's budding romance. "I like to take some of the credit," said Mahomes. "I was the one who invited Travis to the first Taylor concert when the friendship bracelet idea came up. He was sitting in my suite, so I feel like I was the matchmaker. I had some input in there as well. I was like, dude, you should go for it. Just go for it. And Travis, man. He does it. He's a great dude," continued Mahomes. "I'm glad that it's all worked out for the best." Kelce, 34, revealed how he attempted to execute the idea during a July 2023 episode of his podcast New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce. "If you're up on Taylor Swift concerts, there are friendship bracelets, and I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it," he told his brother and co-host Jason Kelce. According to the football tight end, he and Swift didn't get to meet at that time, because she has to save her voice for the 44 songs that she sings. while Kelce and Swift, 34, have never clarified when they officially first met. Swift later said in her Time Person of the Year interview that their romance started when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast, which I thought was metal as hell. We started hanging out right after that. So we actually had a significant amount of time that no one knew. Which I'm grateful for because we got to get to know each other. By the time I went to that first game, we were a couple, added Swift. After Swift began attending various of Kelce's games, the singer became fast friends with Mahomes' wife, Brittany Mahomes, and the attention on the Chiefs and the NFL grew. Pat McAfee complimented Mahomes by telling him that he and his team have been dealing with it great. Travis Kelce is not just dominating on the field, he's now leaving his mark on the small screen in ways you wouldn't expect. The two-time Super Bowl champ has taken on a brand new challenge as the host of Prime Video's Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? But it's not his sports skills that are in the spotlight. In an unexpected twist, Kelce's surprising knowledge of music left his celebrity co-stars, and the audience, in stitches. On the latest episode, premiering on October 23rd, Kelce found himself at the center of a hilarious moment when a simple question about instruments left the panel of celebrity guests flustered. When asked, the saxophone is a member of what family of instruments, the stars were caught off guard, and none of them managed to get it right. Chad Okocinco, Garcelle Beauvais, Ron Funches, and Natasha Leggero all gave wildly different responses. Okocinco guessed brass, Beauvais confidently answered horn, while Funches and Leggero both went with wind. As the audience burst out laughing, Kelce swooped in with the correct answer, woodwind, leaving the panel to wonder how they had missed such a basic question. Isn't woodwind just another type of wind? Leggero asked in confusion, throwing a playful jab at Kelce. But Kelce, proving his music chops, confidently explained that woodwinds are indeed different due to a crucial piece, the reed. Okocinco, whose answer was the furthest off, tried to redeem himself by finishing Kelce's sentence, but Kelce wasn't about to let him off the hook that easily. The crowd erupted as Kelce playfully called him out for his incorrect brass answer, sparking a light-hearted back and forth between the two athletes. Kelce, who recently spoke to People about the show, shared his excitement about taking over the iconic game show format. It's a fun twist on the original concept, and I've always loved the idea of making it a bit more unpredictable, he said. And judging by the laughter that followed his playful music lesson, it seems Kelce is doing just that, keeping both the contestants and the audience on their toes. As Kelce balances football with his new hosting gig, it's clear that his talents extend far beyond the gridiron. Whether he's saving the day with music trivia or trading jabs with fellow celebrities, Kelce's quick wit and charm are making this show one to watch. Chiefs turn to familiar WR to help Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes amid injury crisis. Following an injury-marred start to the 2024 NFL season, the Kansas City Chiefs are giving Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes a new alternative at wide receiver. And the player in question was already part of the team in the last 2 seasons, which ended with Super Bowl wins. The 2024 NFL season has brought Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes more challenges than what the Kansas City Chiefs' 6-0 record suggests. In only a few weeks, they've seen various key players go down with injuries. This only deepens the Chiefs' crisis at WR, with Marquise Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice also on the sidelines. The situation called for a reaction from the front office, which is why the team made a simple but necessary move at the position. On Tuesday, the Chiefs announced they signed wide receiver Cornell Powell to the practice squad. The fourth-year wideout may not be the kind of addition that sends fans into a frenzy, but it's one that makes sense. Reid tends to lean on players who know the system, regardless of what the rest of the NFL thinks about them. And Powell may not have significant experience on the active roster, but he's been with Mahomes on the Chiefs in the last 3 seasons. Selected with the 181st overall pick in the 5th round of the 2021 NFL Draft, the Clemson product was in Kansas City when the team won Super Bowls 57 and LVI. Powell was waived as part of the roster cuts in August, but the injuries at WR opened the door for him to get another chance. The Chiefs currently have only 4 healthy wide receivers on their active roster: Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, Mecole Hardman, and Sky Moore. Therefore, Reid is expected to elevate players from the practice squad to arm Mahomes with more weapons. Apart from Powell, the Chiefs' options on the scout team are Montrell Washington, Nico Remigio, and Justin Ross. Their latest addition may have a legitimate chance to get promoted though, having recorded 6 catches for 104 yards and a couple of touchdowns in preseason. Other roster moves made by the team on Tuesday were directed at filling more holes on the squad. The Chiefs brought back a familiar quarterback in Chris Oladipo, who is filling in the gap left by Bailey Zapp. The 25-year-old, who joined the team's practice squad this year after spending 2 seasons with the New England Patriots, was secured by the Cleveland Browns after Deshaun Watson's injury. But the team also made moves on the other side of the ball. Kansas City activated cornerback Keith Taylor to its 53-man roster, since Mahomes lost another key teammate in Jalen Watson, who was placed on injured reserve with a fractured ankle. We are nearly halfway through the NFL season, and you know what that means, wondering how in the world your fantasy football team is on life support. You thought you took the best players on the board, outsmarted your opponents, had the best value picks, and even had a great Yahoo Sports draft grade. However, it all blew up in your face. How did we get here? We look at the 10 worst fantasy football draft picks of 2024. Send thoughts and prayers to everyone who drafted Christian McCaffrey first overall. The All-Pro running back of the San Francisco 49ers has yet to play in a game this season due to calf and Achilles tendon injuries. He was placed on injured reserve earlier this year and he's not expected to practice heading into Week 8 against the Dallas Cowboys. There's a chance he might return to the 49ers after the bye week for Week 10, but that's up in the air. Hopefully you were able to scoop up Jordan Mason, as San Fran's backup running back has over 96 fantasy points on the season. If not, good luck the rest of the way. Christian McCaffrey isn't the only San Francisco 49er to make the list. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel has had a disappointing season overall, ranking 31st among wide receivers in fantasy points with 60.60. Samuel only has 2 touchdowns total in 2024, and had to be hospitalized following Sunday's loss to the Kansas City Chiefs with pneumonia. It's unknown if Samuel will play in Week 8. Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua had one of the greatest rookie seasons in NFL history in 2023. He set records for most receptions, 105, and receiving yards, 1,486, by a rookie. Many fantasy owners were expecting him to put up similar numbers for 2024, but a knee injury in Week 1 against the Detroit Lions derailed that. He's missed the last 5 games and only has 6.20 fantasy points on the season. The Rams have opened Nacua's 21-day practice window to come off injured reserve. If he does come back, it remains to be seen how he will perform. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes is a 4-time Super Bowl champion and has led the Kansas City Chiefs to a 6-0 record going into Week 8. However, that doesn't mean a damn thing for your fantasy team. Mahomes ranks 22nd in fantasy points for quarterbacks in Yahoo Sports, behind luminaries like Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, and Kirk Cousins. Mahomes is also tied for the league lead in interceptions with 8, and has only thrown 6 touchdowns on the season. No one was expecting that performance from Mahomes in 2024. As defending Super Bowl champions chasing a historic three-peat, they started the new season with one of the strongest rosters in the NFL, but injuries have left a gaping hole. Yes, they are 6-0 this season, and the last undefeated team standing, but that won't stop them making moves. Kansas City have a need at wide receiver after Rashee Rice suffered a knee injury in week 4 that required season-ending surgery. That happened after Marquise Hollywood Brown was lost to a shoulder injury in preseason and was placed on injured reserve. Juju Smith-Schuster, meanwhile, left the game against the San Francisco 49ers last week with a hamstring issue that has already ruled him out for Sunday's game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Injuries have left the Chiefs' receiver room in a tough spot, and Patrick Mahomes, who leads the league in interceptions with 8 alongside Jordan Love and Gardner Minshew, has been leaning on rookie Xavier Worthy, as well as Justin Watson, Mecole Hardman, and Sky Moore in recent weeks, but Kansas City's woes might be about to be solved with a proven performer. According to reports from NFL insiders Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, the team are finalizing a deal with the Tennessee Titans to acquire star receiver DeAndre Hopkins. The deal is for a 5th-round pick that can become a 4th-rounder, and the Titans are expected to eat some of the salary. Adding the 5-time Pro Bowler will be a massive move for the undefeated Chiefs as they chase a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. Hopkins, a 12-year veteran, started the season slowly coming off an injury of his own, but has already proved he is still a threat in one-on-one matchups. The 32-year-old has a touchdown and 173 yards to his name in Tennessee so far this season and would expect to slot into the Chiefs' offense with ease. Back in 2023, Travis Kelce described Hopkins as one of the best players in the NFL. "I would love to see him in a Chiefs uniform," Kelce said at the time, after the WR was released by the Arizona Cardinals. "He's one of the best players in the National Football League every time he puts the helmet on." Kelce, then, finally gets his wish as he prepares to link up with Hopkins. Before news of the trade broke, there was chatter around another star wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, over the weekend. Reports suggested that teams have been calling the Los Angeles Rams inquiring about Kupp, and since then, the rumor mill has been in full swing. The Chiefs were said to be on red alert for Kupp before settling on Hopkins, while the Philadelphia Eagles are said to be a sleeper team, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Pittsburgh Steelers also linked. Kupp himself, though, is not bothered by the noise around him as he sets his focus on a return from injury on Thursday night against the Minnesota Vikings. It is that time of year. There's going to be rumors and things that go around. "I let that stuff, as much as I can, be in the background," he said. "I have a job to do here, and I take a lot of pride in giving everything I can for the guys in this building and being able to step on the field knowing I have prepared the best I can. For 7.5 years, I've been an LA Ram, and I have taken that approach every single day. Whatever happens outside of that, I got to control what I can control. Right now, that means being the best LA Ram I can be." Kansas City Chiefs were in search of a new reinforcement that always oxygenates a team, helping to polish the details necessary to raise the collective level to the highest level once again. Head coach Andy Reid signs a new addition to help stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who will be happy to have a key name at this stage of the 2024 NFL season. The Chiefs have been searching for a running back to replace the injured Rashee Rice, who will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury and subsequent surgery. With the team on a perfect run with a 6-0 streak on the season, the replacement comes at an ideal time. The key veteran joining Andy Reid's Chiefs to help Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is none other than wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. The 32-year-old arrives via trade with the Tennessee Titans in exchange for a 5th-round pick that can go as high as a 4th-round pick, NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported. The 3-time All-Pro will bring experience that will match the level of Mahomes and Kelce, two players who also have extensive experience in the league and are looking to win a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl, something they need high-flying players like Hopkins to respond to in key moments. Over his career, Hopkins has compiled 943 receptions and 79 touchdowns for 12,528 yards in 168 games, 164 starts. Most of his career was spent with the Houston Texans, where he played from 2013 to 2019. Then he went through the Arizona Cardinals and finally came to the Titans, the stop before the Chiefs. This season, Hopkins has 15 receptions and 1 touchdown for 173 yards in 6 games. The 32-year-old veteran led the Titans in receptions, receiving yards and receiving touchdowns in 17 games last season. So his seniority is nothing new. The 5-time Pro Bowl selection has the ideal profile to join Andy Reid's squad and work well with Mahomes on the field. Chiefs injuries at wide receiver. The addition of Hopkins is justified as the Chiefs have had injuries at wide receiver throughout the season, such as Rice. Andy Reid will have a new weapon at his disposal to replace names that have fallen off the depth chart. A review of the injury crisis must start with Marquise Hollywood Brown, who suffered a shoulder injury during the preseason. Then came the injury to starter Rice in Week 4, but the latest casualty was Juju Smith-Schuster, who re-injured his hamstring in the Chiefs' 28-18 win over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Travis Kelce has warned his unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs teammates not to underestimate the 2-5 Las Vegas Raiders after the three-peat-chasing defending champions were stunned last December. The Chiefs were beaten 20-14 by their AFC West rivals, the Raiders, on Christmas Day last year before going on to win back-to-back Super Bowls in February with a win over the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas. Kansas City, despite being ravaged by injuries on offense in 2024 with Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, and Juju Smith-Schuster all out, the Chiefs have put together a 6-0 start. In those 6 games, they've seen off top NFL rivals the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and the 49ers in a Super Bowl rematch at the weekend. However, Chiefs tight end and franchise legend Kelce, 35, has warned his teammates not to get complacent in Sunday's game against the struggling Raiders. Las Vegas has massive problems, particularly on offense, with Davante Adams being traded to the New York Jets, and at quarterback with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, who has now been placed on injury reserve. I think we found out last year that if we don't have the right mindset going into this game, this team can beat us, Kelce reminded his teammates. That's every team in the NFL, but this rivalry in the AFC West Division, that's always a big game, no matter who we are playing in the division. The Raiders, that is always a tough opponent. Kelce added on Kansas City's win in San Francisco over the Niners, it's about us getting better throughout the year. The message was to go out there and play together. There are a lot of doubters with what we can do offensively right now with the guys that we've got. We showed everyone we can put up points today. I love every single guy on this team. That's our mentality, next guy up. Everybody feels their role, they want that opportunity to get out there and show the world that we've got everybody we need right here to win a championship. Kelce hasn't had the best of starts to 2024, and neither has his best friend and quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The 3-time Super Bowl winner and future NFL Hall of Famer is yet to score a touchdown this season. While Mahomes has thrown 8 interceptions and just 6 touchdown passes, Kelce is a target for every defense that plays the Chiefs, especially following the string of injuries to key weapons at running back and receiver. And so, Kansas City has decided to trade for 3-time first-team All-Pro DeAndre Hopkins, 32, from the Tennessee Titans. Travis Kelce and brother Jason disagreed over a lengthy Patrick Mahomes run that caused plenty of controversy during the Kansas City Chiefs' win over the San Francisco 49ers. Quarterback Mahomes broke away for an impressive 33-yard run towards the end of the third quarter against the 49ers on Sunday, which was a repeat of last season's Super Bowl. But it was quickly claimed by those watching that Mahomes appeared to suggest he was heading out of bounds, forcing defenders to slow down and not hit him. However, Mahomes then stepped inside a defender and continued to run down the sidelines for an extra gain. Defensive players know that hitting a player as they head out of bounds is an immediate 15-yard penalty, making them fearful to do so. Discussing the moment on the latest episode of their New Heights podcast, Jason suggested Mahomes knew what he was doing. Travis furiously disagreed, pointing out that Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt shoved the defender closest to Mahomes so he couldn't make the tackle even if he wanted to. Jason said, Mahomes, had the longest run of his career, a 33-yard scamper along the sidelines at the end of the third quarter which, if we are being honest, he used his quarterbackness to his advantage. Travis instantly hit back, man, get out of here. You watch it again. Kareem pushes the guy out of bounds. Mahomes overcame 2 interceptions to deliver a few big plays with his feet as the Chiefs remained the league's only undefeated team, beating the 49ers 28-18. the Chiefs ran for a season-high 184 yards and got 4 touchdowns on the ground for the first time since the 2018 playoffs against Indianapolis. The defense did the rest with 3 interceptions against Brock Purdy and the 49ers on a day when Mahomes had his second fewest yards passing ever in a game he didn't leave injured. Speaking about the game, Travis added, "It's tough to call it a Super Bowl rematch, it's different guys out there. We had a lot of guys step up on our team that didn't play in the Super Bowl. It was a tough game, get dirty type of game. Kareem Hunt getting downhill, my guy Carson Steele, started off slow for us but ended up feeling some confidence, playing together and being accountable. Found a way to put up some touchdowns, that was the biggest thing going into that game as an offense. When we get in the red zone, enough of these field goals, even though we love Harry Butker, and he will make some big field goals for us again this year, but let's put up some touchdowns, man." Taylor Swift is completing the final leg of her Eras tour, which will finally come to an end in Vancouver on December 8, 2024. But as she continues to tour the country, she is having to spend more time apart from her boyfriend Travis Kelce, who felt bittersweet about missing her tour. The Kansas City Chiefs star may not have been able to attend her concert at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, but his brother Jason, along with wife Kylie and daughters Wyatt, 5, and Elliot, 3, were able to watch Taylor perform. Even Donna made an appearance on October 18, showing that Taylor remains close with her boyfriend's family. Speaking on the New Heights podcast, Travis confessed he had all the FOMO in the world as his entire family and all their friends were there. "I had a bunch of friends that were also down by the stage, that had been to a few shows overseas, and they were saying the same thing that you're saying. The Miami Stadium was just on another level," he added. Jason confirmed that the show was indeed incredible, which led to Travis exclaiming, "Man, I wish I was there." The star tight end is currently unable to make any major trips as he's in the middle of the NFL season with the Kansas City Chiefs, which means his focus lies on the football pitch. "Everyone had a good time," Jason continued in reference to the family's time at Swift's show. "Not only did everyone have a good time, but everybody has been texting over the last couple of days since then, like,